गुड मॉर्निंग टू ऑल स्टूडेंट्स। आज हम पढ़ेंगे ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल बिहेवियर का यूनिट 3। इट इज एसोसिएटेड विद लीडरशिप, ग्रुप डायनामिक्स and decision making in groups. The book which we have to refer is Stephen Robbins. To start off with, first of all, we should know the concept of leadership. Leadership styles exist in all work environments. Any organization without leadership will fail. It is destined to fail. So, it becomes extremely important for a person to come out as a leader, show path to the organization, and create unity among the employees. There should be congruence between the organizational goals and the objectives of the individuals. Thus, the objective of the leader arises. The culture and goals of the organization determine which leadership style fits the firm's best. It is not necessary that all kind of leaderships can be applied in one single organization, or there is a particular style of leadership which can be deployed all over as per the situation, as per the requirement. The leadership style changes. Some companies offer several leadership styles within the organization, dependent upon the necessary tasks to complete and departmental needs. So, what are the functions of the leader? First, to direct the followers, to lead the followers. बताया जाए उनको कि क्या काम है, कैसे काम करना है, किस तरीके से काम करना है, उद्देश्यों को किस प्रकार अटेन करना है. Basically, to direct them, to maintain cordial relations among the followers. In an organization, it is important that the employees, the followers, have cordial relationships among them. And it is task of the leader that the employees do have cordial relationships to lead organizations towards the goals. It is a leader who leads organization, who leads individuals, the followers, towards the organization goals. How? There is a reason. Leader creates congruence between the organizational goals and the goals of the individual employees, thus leading an organization towards the goal to resolve problems faced by organization or followers. It is a role of the leader to solve any problem which is being faced by the leader, by the organization, by the followers, to lead people and help them achieve their individual objectives. लोगों को उनकी पोटेंशियल तक पहुंचाना, to make the people understand what is their task, to make people realize their potential and help them achieve their individual objectives, to provide mission statement, vision statement to the followers. This is again task of the leader. And finally, to motivate the followers and to check progress of the followers. These are the basic functions of the leader. And as per the requirement, as per the situation, the work, the functions of the leader change. They evolve. Now, there are various types of leadership. There are various styles of leadership. So, what are these? First, there is an autocratic style. Second, democratic style. Third, laissez-faire style, transformational style, and transactional style of leadership. So, to start off with, first of all, autocratic style of leadership. The autocratic style of leadership. In this style, the manager is allowed to take decisions without any input from the others. कोई भी मैनेजर जो कि ऑटोक्रेटिक स्टाइल फॉलो करता है वो किसी से भी कोई सलाह नहीं लेता है. It is just like if you see the movies also, likewise it was Bhallal Dev in the movie Bahubali 2. He was autocratic. Same way. The manager, in particularly autocratic style, possess total authority and impose their will on employees. No one challenges the decisions of the autocratic leader. This style of leadership only benefits employees who require close supervision. Basically, there are two kinds of employees, type X, type Y. So, type X employees are specifically requiring the autocratic leadership. They need direct supervision. And specifically, if the employees are creative, if the employees are creative, what happens? They thrive and detest this style of leadership. And if we see the global political scenario, countries like Cuba and North Korea have the autocratic style of leadership. Now, democratic style of leadership. This style is also known as group-centered leadership style. These days, this leadership style is much in vogue. It is followed everywhere. Under this style, the managers, the decisions are not taken alone by the managers, but taken in consultation with the employees. Every decision is taken in consultation with employees. And this particular style of leadership is based on decentralization, just like the Pandav army in Mahabharata. It was decentralized. Each of the Pandavas, whenever they were present at a situation, took the charge. The manager respects suggestions made by his subordinates and also makes an effort to fulfill their necessities. Now, the third one, laissez-faire. Laissez-faire style of leadership lacks direct supervision of employees and fails to provide regular feedback to those who work under their supervision. They are least concerned about development welfare of their employees. They neither provide any sort of supervision. They are highly experienced and trained employees required for laissez-faire style of leadership. Because there should be a spark in the employees. The employees should know what task has to be done, how it has to be done. If this style of leadership is followed, if there are type X employees in this type of leadership, certainly there will be a failure. This style hinders the production of employees needing supervision. This style is not suggested for the trainees. The laissez-faire style produces no leadership or supervision efforts. No supervision efforts. Because the leader is not least interested in development of the employees. Self-centric leadership. The laissez-faire style produces no leadership or supervision efforts from managers, which can lead to poor production, lack of control, and increasing cost. There's a very quite popular anecdote related to King Louis of France. When there was a famine in France, King Louis was so ignorant about the situations that he didn't know what a famine is. What he did, he just handed over all of the uh, authorities, distributed authorities, relied too much on their dukes, the counts. So ultimately, what happened? There was a famine. When he was caught, he told people, "You are not having bread to eat, so no problem. Have some cake." He was so ignorant. This is the laissez-faire style. No control. No control, which leads to poor production, lack of control, and thorough increase in cost. Transformational leadership style, just like Mahatma Gandhi ji, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose ji. Transformational leader style depends on the high levels of communication from management to meet goals. Leaders motivate employees and enhance productivity and efficiency through communication and high visibility. This style of leadership requires involvement of management to meet the goals. Leaders focus on big picture within the organization and delegate smaller tasks to the teams to accomplish goals. And finally, we have transformational style. Paisa fek, tamasha dekh. Managers using transformational style leadership have specifically focused on transactional relationships. When a certain task is performed and provide returns or punishment if the task is not performed, and monetary reward if the task is attained. The managers and the team members set predetermined goals together, and employees agree to follow the direction and the leadership of manager to accomplish these goals. Just like any of the target related job, the motivation behind is the money among the employees. The manager possesses power to review results and train or correct the employees when employees fail or the team members fail to meet the goals. When team members are successful, they are given reward. Just like when the good work is done, when the targets are achieved, the incentives are given. And when the targets are not achieved, memos are given. And we have basically 4 theories of leadership: traditional theory, trait theory, behavioral theory, and the situational theories. Now, what are these behavioral theories? These theories state that certain behavior differentiate leader from non-leaders. And the difference between the trait theory and behavioral theory is that the trait theory states that leaders are born, rather not made, whereas behavioral theory states that leader exhibits certain type of behavior, then only they are known as leaders. Okay, now there were 4 specific studies in this leadership. style, behavioral theory. Now, Ohio State Leadership University Studies. Now, what this Ohio State Leadership Study said? First of all, this study was conducted in year 1945. Now, this study was based on questionnaire, and specifically, the questionnaire was distributed among the individuals, and supervisors' behavior questionnaire was developed, and there were 4 outcomes. There are 4 kinds of behavior which are exhibited by the leader as per the Ohio State University studies. There are initiating structure behavior. There are consideration behavior. Okay, there is high consideration, there is low consideration for each of the behavior. Now, specifically initiating structure behavior. What does this mean? The behavior of the leaders who define the leader subordinate role that everybody knows is what expected. The establishing of formal lines of communication and determining how the tasks will be accomplished. How much initiative the individual leader has taken. And based upon this, there was also consideration, how much considerate the leader was towards the employees. The behavior of the leaders who were concerned for the subordinates and attempt to establish warm, friendly, and supportive climate. The Ohio State leadership studies also showed that initiating structure and consideration for 2 distinct dimensions are not only mutually exclusive, and a low score does not require a high score on other. Hence, the leadership behavior can be plotted on 2 separate axes on a single continuum, as there are 4 quadrants. Okay, and the 4 quadrants were having low consideration and high consideration. High consideration, low structure, high consideration, high structure, low consideration, low structure, high structure, and low consideration. And each quadrant in the relative mixture of the initiating structure and the consideration of the manager can adopt any one of this style out of the 4 quadrants. Now, the findings of Ohio State University leadership studies suggested that effective leader possesses a strong ability to work with others and build a cohesive team which is balanced with the capability to create structure within which the activities can be accomplished. After this, we have Michigan State University. Okay. Now, the problem with this Michigan State University studies was that they were in parallel. They were studied in parallel with the Ohio State University studies. So, majority of the things were same. Majority of the activities were same. So, what happened in Michigan leadership studies? Now, Michigan leadership studies again follow the behavioral leadership theory and indicate that the University of Michigan actually conducted again using a survey to identify different styles of leadership, which result in higher performance and satisfaction of the group. Now, there were 2 distinctive differences. Now, earlier it was involvement, initiation based. Now, this became job centered and employee centered. Again, 2 typical type of leaderships came. Job-centered leadership. Managers using job-centered leadership behavior paid close attention to the subordinates' work, explained work procedures, and had keen interest in the performance. Basically, as the name suggests, job-centered. And there was now employee-centered leadership. Managers using employee-centered leadership behavior were interested in developing cohesive work groups, ensuring that employees are satisfied with their jobs. The Michigan State Universities found that the both styles of leadership led to increase in production, but it was slightly more in case of production of job-centered style. However, in use of direct pressure and close supervision led to decreased satisfaction and increased turnover and absenteeism. The employee-centered approach led to improved workflow, procedure, and more cohesion in interaction, resulting in increased satisfaction and decreased turnover and absenteeism. This suggested superiority of the employee-centered leadership style. Now, again, I repeat, there is a very little difference between the Michigan leadership studies and the Ohio State leadership studies, as they were around the same time, and which also identified the focus on tasks and people. Michigan State University study added one more thing, participative leadership, to the Ohio leadership studies. Moving further debate to question of leading terms rather than the individuals. Then we have the Morton and Blake managerial grade. Now, this managerial grade was founded in 1964, was developed in 1964. By Robert R. Blake and Jane Morton. So, as the name suggested itself, Blake and Morton. The model originally identified 5 different leadership styles based on concern for the people and concern for the production. The optimum leadership style theory is based on why. This model is represented in a grid, which is concern for the production as the x-axis for the people and y-axis for the range from low to high. Now, on the x-axis, there was concern for the production. On y-axis, there were concern for the people. Okay, now, and as you see, there are ratings given from 1 to 9. So there were total 81 combinations of leadership style which were displayed by the individuals. And out of these 81, 5 were considered to be important. First of all, it was the country club style. Second one, 1:9 one was country club style, 1:1 was impoverished style, 9:1 was produce or perish style, 5:5 was middle of the road style, 9:9 was the team style. Now, the model, to start off with the model, 1 by 1, where the concern for the people is also low, whereas the concern for the production is also low. It was the impoverished style, where the leader was neither concerned about the people nor about the production. जो चल रहा है चलने दो. Whereas the country club style, 1:9, the concern for the production was low, 1, but concern for the people was very high. The manager was extremely people oriented, the employee oriented. Whereas if we go to 9:1, whereas concern for the production is extremely high and the employees are considered as the expandables, produce or perish style. Next, we had the team style, 9:9, where the concern for production was important, where the leaders took the initiative, but the employees were also an important part. They continuously took liberties, they continuously voted for the activities. So there was this thing. Now, middle of the road, 5:5, middle of the road, neither too much employee oriented, neither too much production oriented, middle of the road, which was free from any sort of partiality. It didn't have inclination towards neither production too much nor the employees too much. And finally, we have Likert scale theory of leadership. Renesas Likert identified four major styles of leadership, in particular around decision making and the degree to which people are involved. Again, leadership was divided into four quadrants: exploitative authoritative, benevolent authoritative, consultative, and participative. Now, the trait theory. The trait theory stated that the traits of the individual differentiates the leaders from the non-leaders. Okay, the theory considers personal qualities and characteristics differentiate leaders from non-leaders. And these traits there were 8 traits considered, 7 traits considered: ambition and energy, desire to lead, honesty and integrity, self-confidence, intelligence, self-monitoring, and knowledge about the job. These 7 traits were considered to be found among the leaders and not found, or extremely least applicable, least found among the non-leaders. And finally, we have situational approach. The situational approach theory proposes that the effectiveness of the particular style of leadership is dependent on the context in which it is being exercised. From situation to situation, different styles may be more appropriate. There is no one particular style of doing things. As per the situation, the styles change. And there may be a combination of styles too. An emphasis is placed on developing the ability to work in different ways and change management styles to suit the situation. 3 common situational theories included Fiedler's contingency theory, Hershey-Blanchard situational leadership, and Howe's path goal theory. First of all, Fiedler's contingency model. It suggested that the leadership effectiveness depends on both leadership styles, being task or human-oriented, and the degree to which the situation gives leader control and influence. The effectiveness of the leader is depending on the degree, how much situation, because of the situation, how much leader can exert control and influence it. Contingency theory is a general theory which says there is no singular best way to structure your organization and lead your team. There is no single best way. Only thing which can be done as per the situation, adopt the leadership style. The 3 factors affecting leader and control were, leaders control and influence were the relationship between leader and followers, whereby support may or easily be gained by liked and respectable leader, the structure of the task, whereby clarity of the goal, methods, and criteria will be promoted for the greater influence, the leader's positional power, which may afford leader greater control. Now, this is how it looks like. There were 3 criteria, 3 situational criteria, on the basis of which the leaders selected what kind of leadership style has to be adopted. Leader-member relationship ranging from good to poor, task structure which range from structured to unstructured, and position of the leader power which range from strong to weak. So as per the situation, if the leader-member relationship is good, the task is structured, the leader's positional power is strong, so the things are favorable, the situations are in favor. This particular diagram shows how the situations are in favor and what makes situation in favor of the leader and what does not make situations in the favor of the leader. For example, just opposite, the member-leader relationships are poor, the tasks are unstructured, and the leader position power is weak. Thus, the situation is out of control. Then we have Hershey-Blanchard's situational leadership theory. It was given by Hershey and Ken Blanchard. The leadership theory states that instead of just using one style, successful leaders should change their leadership style based on maturity of the people they are leading and the details of the task. Leaders should be able to place more emphasis on the task and more less emphasis on the relationship between the people they are leading. depending on what is needed to get the job done. They focused on tasks, situation leadership, less emphasis on the relationships. Relationships are important, but only when there is to be task to be completed. And again, the quadrant, the relationship behavior and the task behavior. The relationship behavior was again divided into two parts: high relationship behavior, low relationship behavior. Task behavior, high task behavior and low task behavior. Thus, there were four quadrants created in the Hershey-Blanchard situation leadership theory. Now, when the relationship behavior is high, but the task behavior is low, task orientation is low, then there is participative style where there is sharing of ideas. Followers are able, but unwilling and not confident. Whereas when the relationship behavior is low and task behavior is also low, then there is delegation, turning over decisions to others. Followers are able, willing, and confident. That means they are experienced. Now we have the selling style, which is found in the second quadrant, high task behavior and high relationship behavior, where the leader needs to explain the decisions. Followers are unable to do the task, but they are willing and confident. The direction is needed, instructions are given. And finally, the telling style. The telling style where the task behavior is high, but the relationship behavior is low. Okay, so in this kind of behavior, the leader gives instructions. Followers are unable, unwilling, and neither are confident. They are typically type X kind of employees. They need to be pushed. They need to be given instructions so that they are able to complete the tasks. And specifically, they also segregated what style of leadership is to be followed as per the maturity level of the employees. Maturity level was divided into four parts: low maturity, medium maturity, limited skills, medium maturity, high skills but lacking in confidence, and high maturity. So for low maturity, telling or directing was the most appropriate leadership style. For medium maturity or limited skills, selling or coaching is the high. Whereas medium maturity, high skills but lacking confidence, participating or supportive. High maturity is the delegation. And finally, we have the house, path, and goal theory. Now, specifically, it proposes that the effectiveness of the leadership is influenced by the interaction of leadership behavior and contingency factors, including the characteristics of the employees. The leader is expected to adopt various leadership behaviors fluidly according to the situation. The four leadership behaviors are identified as directive, path, goal clarification, supportive leadership, participative leadership, and achievement-oriented leadership. Direct the employees, which is associated directive, path, goal clarification. Supportive, the employees are given tasks and the support is given by the leaders so that they can achieve the task. Participative, where leaders themselves come along and participate in tasks, in decision making along with the employees. And achievement oriented, focus towards the completion of the task. Now, the leadership effectiveness in the house path goal theory was dependent on employee contingencies, leaders' behavior, and environmental contingency. And all of these had different kind of factors. Employee contingency had skill and experience of the employee, whereas leader behavior is segregated into four parts: directive, supportive, participative, and achievement oriented. And environmental factors are the structure of the task and dynamics of the team. Now you can see in the model, leadership behavior results in leadership effectiveness, which result is high employee motivation, employee satisfaction, and acceptance of the leader. And these are moderated by employee contingencies and environmental contingencies. There is a moderating relationship between contingencies of employees and the environment. Okay. With this, we have finished off with our leadership. Thank you to all listening to me. Have a great day ahead.